What is the most misunderstood thing about addiction? I thought that if I stopped getting high, my life would transform overnight into a basket full of rainbows and posies like non-addicts' lives are. That is just not true. I am substance-free and everything is not magically better. And when I came to the sobering realization that my life wasn't going to be some cakewalk, I saw that no one else's life was a gravy train either. I thought addicts had it hard and non-addicts had it easy. But non-addicts have every single one of the struggles that I have, except for one. If a non-addict gets high, they can choose to stop. If I get high, I am no longer able to choose, hence the reason I can't and don't get high. There's just no such thing as one time for me. What I misunderstood the most about addiction was why I continued to relapse, and when I did relapse, why I couldn't stop. For example, I lost my job, which made me want to keep getting high to mask the feelings of failure associated with losing my job. But without a job, I couldn't afford to get high, so I'd commit theft. I'd get high the next time to cover up feeling ashamed of being a failure and a thief. In the commission of that theft, the police found someone willing to testify to the fact that my vehicle was seen leaving the scene. Now I use opiates to mask the feelings associated with failure, thievery, and the fear I have of going to prison. I'd commit another theft with an accomplice to get enough money to use opiates just one more time. This time I got into an accident without insurance. I rent a hotel room with that accomplice because I no longer have a vehicle to use opiates in. While impaired, I cheat on my wife. All of the sudden, every time I use opiates becomes my escape from the ever-increasingly difficult reality I've created for myself. I didn't know how to stop using opiates because it was the only coping mechanism I practiced, and it provided a temporary reprieve from the shitstorm that was my life. My relapses are not about having fun. An immediate relapse out of a 30-day rehab isn't about me getting high. An immediate relapse is about being in a completely unimpaired state for the first time in years, with zero life skills and gigantic problems with family, law, and society, all of which I created. In sobriety, I'm forced to remember everything I've done over the past 20 years while I was under the influence, and it's freaking unbearable at times. I've created a world in which any one problem would have been manageable, but all my problems were placed on impairment pause, and now, in sobriety, life's play button is pushed and I'm overwhelmed with problems that I haven't the slightest idea on how to solve. I've burned every bridge with family and friends. I never learned how to solve small problems, like working a computer or getting insurance or finding a job. Let alone problems with the law or my physical and psychological health. The road to this addict's relapse is further lubricated. God, I wanted to use that word in an answer. I hope it makes sense, due to the obvious, to myself and every addict I know, fact that there are no long-term support systems in place to provide the tools necessary to work through these issues when I was released from any given rehab. The clean, unimpaired version of me is able to see opportunities that the impaired version of me was blind to, but that doesn't mean I know how to get from point A to point B. And what non-addicts misunderstand the most is that when an addict finally does decide to quit using, there aren't any systems in place that provide the direction and support needed to bring that addict to a place where they are a productive and functioning member of society. I've been through the system, several in fact, and the reality is, rehabilitation facilities remove the substance from the addict only temporarily, but aren't teaching the addict how to live their life that way. So relapse isn't just easy, it is almost inevitable. I cannot or would not deny that while everyone else was learning how to budget their money, find employment, use a computer, brush their teeth, raise a child, be a friend, be a son, and be a productive member of society, that I was hanging out in motels, banging dope and figuring out ways to screw the system. I was motivated by the scent of a stranger, the tip of a needle, and the fallacy that I could live forever without reaping the harvest I'd sown, not to Floyd. But today, I choose to not live like a societal parasite. And as much as it embarrasses me and pains me to say it, I need help to figure out how to do that. How to live.